So how about we do the most meta-etymological thing possible? How about we look at the history of the word? Word. Okay? The word comes from Germanic Norse. English is a Germanic language. And of course, the best way you can think about this is the Vikings. So a load of these guys, these are all the Norts, the Nordic Vikings. They were all hopping on ships and sailing around the world and annoying us noble, civilized Irish. They were coming in and stealing our books. Maybe they were based in Red Pill. They were stealing our books. Maybe we were in the wrong, but I don't think so. We were the civilized Irish with all the good people, the people of God. And of course, these grug Vikings came in and like stole our books and then like burnt down our monasteries and basically just ended civilization as the only thing they can do. And anyway, they ended up conquering us because they're more evil than we are. And then they forced the language upon us. Now we all use English. That's basically the story of history right there. So what you notice about this word is that it comes down from an Old Norse word which meant weird, which is actually the word for destiny or fate. Now this old word, this idea of destiny, the tying of these two strange concepts, it's very hard for our minds to wrap ourselves around what this might mean. Like, what's going on here? These Vikings, what were they sort of thinking? Why was it making sense? How did this make sense to them? Now, the way you could think about this is actually quite similar to the law of attraction. You can imagine the Vikings in their longboat reading The Secret, and thinking to themselves, they're like a load of Napoleon Hills, just charging through the ocean towards Ireland, and thinking to themselves, right, if I say it, it will become manifest. They're like manifesting their reality, manifesting their destiny. They're visualizing. They're all these crazy guys just sort of willing the world to change in some type of sense. And this idea of thinking, of conceptualizing, of articulating, even in vision and speech, this is tied to the idea of fate and destiny and future. And it starts to make a little bit of sense there if you imagine them like law of attraction Vikings. This is the new definition of how the Vikings work. And the thing about this is that it's not just trivial words. This is what's so fascinating about our modern conceptions of language. We see language as a trivial tool that just can be thrown around and used in a flowery way to mean anything at all. It can be just like dancing, pretty concepts that have no point or weight to them at all. But the Vikings didn't see it that way. The Vikings saw words as destiny. They saw them as very heavy things, very serious things. If you say something, you're not supposed to just fucking talk shit. You're supposed to say what you mean, and you're supposed to be very, very careful about what you say. And what this does, this focus on making your words very, very real and visceral, is that it gives them weight, it gives them body, it gives them heaviness. Now, this is where the jargonite can start to learn what he's starting to look for, because of course the jargonite to this point has only seen words as these funny little concepts that he can dazzle people with, or maybe act flowery and circus-like. But he's never thought about adding body to them, adding balls to them, adding some type of weight to his words, adding some type of gravitas to his words, consequence to his words. Think about it this way. If I say to you, I will fight any man who disrespects me, and then you're thinking, oh, cool idea, bro, but then someone disrespects me and I actually stand up and I fight him, you're going to kind of think, all right, that guy actually means stuff when he says it. If I'm going to go around and say to myself, all right, I'm going to do 400 push-ups today, and you say, yeah, I've said that before, and then you actually do those 400 push-ups, it's like you've created a relationship between the truth and your words. You've made your words real and serious. It's like when you say something, your willpower is going to come up and back it up. And so instead of you being like a comedian, funny guy, when you speak, people are like, whoa, oh God, he's after saying something again. That means he's going to do something. He's going to take action. There's a relationship between your words and your actions, and therefore there's a relationship between your words and your destiny. And this gives this gravitas, this weight, this power, this charge to your words, because it's like, all right, that's a person who follows through with what he says. That's a person who actually takes action. That's a person who has willpower underneath his words. And this creates something quite profound with language and words. It's an awful lot like money, actually, in terms of the concept of value. We use fiat money right now. Fiat money is very abstract. It's very much like a circus. It's very much inflated. It's trivial. Money can just be printed out of nowhere, and it can mean anything. It's all conceptual and in our mind. It's all very left hemispheric, up there in the noggin and all this type of stuff. And the idea of what money is like, it's not like it's just fiat. It's just like a floating cloud, Whereas you can think about money like Bitcoin. money like gold, money like, you could say, money backed by hegemony. These things have got weight underneath them. You know, gold is heavy, real, solid, value-based material that you can pick up and you can see, you can use it, you can make it to make things. It's got weight underneath it. Bitcoin is driven by pure, raw energy. There's energy underneath this. This gives body, this gives balls to the money. When you take out a gold coin, there's something quite profound about it, something quite magical. Whereas you take out a dollar and it's like, well, there's billions of other these floating around, trillions of these floating around. They could just make a trillion more of these tomorrow. It's not like they're trivial dollars. They're trivial pieces of value, of measurement. Whereas the Bitcoin and the gold has balls, has weight, has energy, has charge, literally. It's the same with words. Words have this type of thing. And if you're looking to gain respect, of course, you need to start thinking along these lines. You need to think about how you can take your words and stop them being fiat and make them a energy-backed currency. That's what you start to think. And this actually means that you can't talk as much, because if you just talk trivially all the time and say whatever you so feel like you think, or recite information that you haven't tested out, your words become fiat, your words inflate, they become nonsense, they can become trivial, and no one takes you serious. But if you're that man of action, if you're that person who asserts, if you're that person who says, I'm going to do it, and then you follow through, if you're that person who doesn't speak unless they really, really mean it, your words get this power. And then people start to see you differently. People start to see you differently, especially because you're acting, but of course also because the way you talk, you've got, it's like this very, very strong character. You'll have all these virtues like humility. You won't talk shit. You won't talk out of turn. But when you do talk, it's very like serious. It's got that type of energy. And you can be very, very funny this way. You can be actually probably more funny than any comedian could be, because your funniness is connected with reality. It's very shocking. It's very, very powerful in its emotional charge. And that's all that humor is. It's like anticipation, shock, charge, these type of things. It makes you into someone respectable. It's a very magical thing when you think about it. It begins with your spirit, with your ability to connect with how you're using your words, and your ability to actually psychologically discipline yourself. Like the way Jung would say that you're the beginning of the creation of your character is to actually go in and start to develop a humility with your psychology to master your inner world. And Nietzsche is the same thing, talking about this idea of destiny and future.